There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Hi, I'm Travis, the King of Source Point, and you're watching The Experience.
Show those.
Hey, what's going on
here? Robbie, what's up, my man?
We got our buddy Rockin Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers here. As always, John. Surprisingly to no one, we were talking about cheesesteaks. A photo just posted of it prior to the show. And surprising no one, I did not eat dinner prior to the show. So Stevie B in the house. Marcus, what's going on, brother?
Stevie B, we're probably not singing, my man. We love you, but there's got to be a line.
Yeah, we want to increase viewership. We don't want to decrease viewership. You know, otherwise, John would be dancing for you right now.
Hey, if we sell every single book, I'll consider it. But
y'all speak for yourself.
You just guarantee we're not selling every single book. Lars Man in the house.
One by one.
Lars Man in the house. What's going on, buddy? So, Robbie, what's been going on? How was your weekend, bro?
It was great. We did our Bond podcast, so I finally finished all of that. I watched Master of the Flying Guillotine for the first time. Had a lot of fun with that, and I read the Savage Dragon 3-issue miniseries from back in 92, 30 years ago by Eric Larson for the first time and loved the crap out of that one. So I've had a really great weekend.
So that Larson kid might have a future, I understand.
That's what I hear.
He might make it.
Yeah. Hey, a Master of the Flying Guillotine, are you talking about that 1970-ish, very poorly 76. Made post Bruce Lee death when they were just flooding the market? I mean, dude, literally, they were shooting these things in a day.
Yeah, but that has roots that go back further than the Bruce Lee explosion, right? Because the guy who was in it, it's actually a sequel to the One-Armed Boxer, and Hong Kong cinema is its own thing, right?
Yes.
But it looks so bad because I found out last night that they lost the original film. They had to piece what is available out of 34 different prints of the film. And that's why, I mean, it looks terrible. Yeah. It's cheesy, but it was fun. I had a lot of fun.
It was, so Ron Shepard in the house. What's going on, Ron? So that actor, believe it or not, was a huge, it's interesting you talk about this. Maybe, are you doing that as a review tonight or?
I did a review on it last night on Rockin.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry I missed it. I did not realize you were doing that because interesting story there. I mean, the history on that was when Bruce Lee died, and there was obviously a market here in the U.S. for that type of film. Hong Kong just flooded the market with these films.
Bruceploitation, right? Yeah.
They brought him back out. The reason what the actor, the one-armed boxer, they brought him back out because he was a very famous actor in Hong Kong for years, right? And my mom was a huge fan. But the Hong Kong market was always traditionally a very small market, So, and at that point, they weren't allowed to distribute their films in China. So it was just mostly, East Asian stuff. But he was like a pretty, and I think my mom said that he was like mostly a actor for rom-coms. So, obviously, if you watch the movies, he has very little martial arts experience of any kind. Especially when you can see his arm underneath his shirt.
Oh, it's really bad. Like, they're not even trying to hide it, But I heard that he caught a lot of flack from people because he's an actor who learned a little bit of martial arts to do the movies, and then there's this like divisiveness in some people where they think you have to be a martial artist first, then an actor. And he went Jimmy Wang Wu or something like that?
It was very early. So there was really no direction. So the reason they hired him was because he was well known. Okay. It's kind of like he produced in the Jack Reacher movies.
He was the director and the writer of the film too. So
so
it's fun. I mean, you got this old blind dude decapitating people with this basically hat he's got on a chain. It's awesome.
Yeah, I know, right? I know. My mom took me to see that movie because she liked the lead, but she kind of regretted it after watching the movie and all the heads being severed all over the place and the fake spouting blood. But yes, it was that. That's a good one for you to review. So Lars Man sends rom-com action figures.
Oh, why did you think of shot of Ant-Man? That's not cool.
Lars Man, we'd like to know, all of us here on Comic Collectibles would like to know what it is you're eating and drinking, because the last few shows you've been announcing to us,
like ribs and stuff.
Well, and the beverage of choice he's been telling us as well. All right, to start everything off, we're going to do what we always do. We're going to start off with Dynamite 10-pack reader set. So 10 random Dynamite titles with a cover price of $3.99 or higher. So really, you're looking at a $40 or more retail for all 10 comics. As always, we have it out there for $5. If you buy more than one, we will do our absolute best to make sure that we don't duplicate, but we cannot guarantee, especially if you buy more than 2, 3, or 4, which we've had readers do. If there's a Dynamite title that you like to request in your 10-pack, let us know. If we can do it, we certainly will. But again, we can't guarantee. And just for anybody that's a new viewer, and I'll probably repeat this a couple times during the course of the show, we have 2 types of claims. We have a buy it now claim, so we'll throw out a price, and first person to claim it in the chat boards will walk away with it. And then we have a best offer of the night, which we will close at 7:55 towards the end of the show. And JD will give everybody, our producer JD will give everybody a warning, and he'll usually throw a clock up just to let everybody know that the deadline is coming. And Lars Man says he is one pint into some Shiner
Rock
from the Kegerator, dinner undecided, maybe Japanese. So I assume that he's going to be ordering out, Lars Man. But good for you, my friend. I'm kind of jealous. I wish I had a beer and some sushi.
My post-lunch beer today.
I saw that.
It's a nice warm day. Well, for here, hey Joel.
What's going on?
It's 62 degrees and sunny, so I cracked open
I saw that
a key lime sour ale.
And then you posted it on at least Facebook, if not more places.
I'm trying to kind of push to that springtime. I got a blood orange cream ale. I got a
well, ironically, guess what? It's going to start snowing in our area. It's probably going to snow in our area on Thursday.
I know.
It's crazy. It was almost 70 today.
Huh.
It's absolutely crazy. All right, so you know what? We're going to do the best offer items to give everybody plenty of time, and we'll do a recap as the show goes on. All right, so now we have Teen Titans number 20 signed by Jeff Johns from the DF Vault. Suggested retail of $50, and we're going to do best offer. It's going to be a best offer item, and it will be best offer starting at $20. So Teen Titans number 20 signed by Jeff Johns from the DF Vault. And I know that you've mentioned it. I think it was you. Jeff Johns is becoming increasingly tougher to get.
Well, like a lot of these creators now, and I'm glad to see this. I certainly don't want this. I mean, we joke around a lot, but I literally don't mean this in any sort of negative way. But creators reach a certain level. Matt Fraction, Nick Spencer, Jeff Johns, and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they make their publisher a ton of money, right? Well, then Hollywood sort of starts calling, right? Because first they have some indie success. Then they have some big 2 success. Then they kind of dip their toe back into what I call like the upper indie success, like Image or whatever. And then the next thing you know, Hollywood's calling. Like, hey, Sex Criminals is pretty cool. We could maybe put this on HBO Max or something, right? So, and I don't blame these creators. They sort of, like they lived in Portland and they lived in New York and they live in Chicago. Now, all of a sudden, they live outside of Los Angeles.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's sort of a, It's sort of you're seeing it happen over and over and over again. The next thing you see these creators and they're on Instagram or social media. They're in like their basement, right? And they got on like an old sweatshirt. Maybe they just buy his artboard. Hey, everything's cool.
Not dressed up like us.
Yeah, right? Then the next time you see this person, maybe 4 or 5 years later, Hugo Boss suit, really nice haircut, shaved. They've got a driver, and they're suddenly working on a project. I think the big example of that was David Goyer. I mean, the guy worked on Flash and this and that. The next thing you know, he's busting out TV shows. He was taking like a private plane to productions.
Right.
Everybody wants to be Chris Claremont.
So, all right. Robbie, is that a crazy great tiki cup? It is.
It is.
It's He-Man.
He-Man.
Look at
He-Man.
that.
Man, now he's going to make me bust out my Captain Kirk tiki cup next week.
Bust it out, bro.
Oh, man.
Do it.
Bring it
Jeff
right
Johnson's
behind-
super cool. This is a really great run of Teen Titans that he did too, with some really great Tim Drake work. And the first time I met Jeff Johns, and he went on to become like such a big wig at like Warner Brothers, right? Not anymore. Now he's doing his own indie stuff again. But when I first met him, it was at a McDonald's in Chicago at breakfast time. He was super, super cool dude. It was at a Wizard World in 2002.
Too funny. All right, so Lars Mann's talking about Nick's early bird special. Nick's watching, so if there is one, he'll throw it in the mix. But all right, let's see what we got here that would sort of qualify. Let me see. All right, well let's get these best offers.
Maybe this is the week he announces Hornet Versal. All the various different versions.
That's why you shouldn't be drinking beer.
I know he's laughing.
That's why you shouldn't be drinking beer early in the day. You get delusionary like
Yeah, but isn't it really just 5 or 6 different rich guys pointing guns at each other?
Pretty much, yeah.
I was going to say, you can't do the cool stuff like you can with Vampy versus Sonya Versal.
Which is less believable than a flying man.
Right? I know.
All right.
Nice.
Look at this. I was just getting ready to call that one out.
Scotty Young. This is nice.
Yeah, Wolverine #1, Scotty Young baby retailer variant, signed by Scotty Young.
Telling.
And I believe
Cyclops would totally be the one to tattle, right?
I was just watching some X-Men animated series from the 90s, and that is exactly what he does. He's a tattletale. He's like, Xavier, Wolverine's being mean to me again.
Professor.
Yeah.
And I know the professor's thinking, man, you might have been the first one I found, but oof, I should have thrown you back.
All right, so it is suggested retail of $89.99, and it is our second best offer book of the evening, starting at $20. And I know that JD threw it out there. If you're a new viewer, if you claim something on the chats, all right, Lars, man, got you down, buddy. If you claim something, please fill out the submission form, which JD will throw up a link for periodically. Real important for us. There it is. Thank you, JD. Real important for us because if your screen name and your real name don't match up, obviously it gives us your real name. But probably the single most important thing is where do we ship it? So you would.
So I send stuff to Lars Man and it doesn't go. You're saying, or I gotta have a name?
No, Lars Man's great. He always fills out submission form. You just walk out, so we don't have to ship you anything. Make sure that that radar gun's ready to go, Amy.
Right.
The wand, so we can search. John at the end of the show, he's always walking away with something. That's why I'm choosing bigger statues.
Oh, that reminds me, we're out of metal covers. I don't know what's happened.
I told you, let me cut you with the edge of one, and you get to take that one home because we can't sell it after that.
Sorry, it's been ruined.
Oh my gosh. So all right, so Lars Man is in for $25 on the Wolverine #1. All right, let me see what else we got. Oh, here we go. This is a CCA best offer of the night. We have Secret Invasions #1, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato.
Who literally ran out of this office.
It's you.
When it is
I'm telling you, it's you.
I was trying to get Mariano to maybe join in, and he was
doesn't
just
hang
like,
out with you, man. He said after that last show, I can't hang out with that John guy.
He was one and done.
I wear him out because I'm in the office with him, so I pound on him all day with my smart remarks and stuff. By 6 o'clock, the man's spent. All right, so suggested retail of $89.99. It's going to be another best offer book starting at $25. So Secret Invasions #1, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. So it is a best offer book starting
Lars
at
Man's
$25.
dropping 25. He's in.
Oh, all right, Lars Man, I got you, buddy.
I love this cover. So is Mariano like the penciler and the other guy's the inker? Is that what's going on there?
I'm not sure, actually.
I don't know. Is he still out there? Maybe somebody could ask him. I don't know how the division of labor was on this.
Neither do I. Hey, Joel, Lars Man's already in at 25, so you're going to have to come in a little higher, buddy.
It's a great cover, though, regardless. I love the Kirby crackle right there. It's like a burn version of it that I really, really like. And then it's very Starlin on the Thanos for sure.
It really is. It's sort of almost like a greatest hits, like all the stuff you've loved from this era, right? It's Kirby crackle. It's, you've got the Spider-Man, you've got Starlin. It kind of ticks a lot of boxes, right?
All right. So just to update everybody, Joel came up to 30. Lars Man is now at 35. Gotcha, guys.
And you're right, Marcus. That is the classic, like, corner box Spidey image, man.
That's even better.
Yeah.
I miss the corner boxes.
And obviously you got Thanos on the cover as well. So it's great stuff. But But yeah, Mariano's.
It's on back order, but my Thanos was right shirt will be coming soon from shopdisney.com. I can't wait to wear that on this show.
Is that what you do all day? You get up at 3 a.m. to watch new episodes. You drink. You make yourself some sandwich, take a picture of it, make everybody else hungry, and then drink beer in the middle of the day.
Joel's up to 40 on Secret
All right,
Invasion,
buddy.
but yeah, that's
John is
essentially
living
my
that life. John is living that life.
I kept hearing people tell me, dude, if you retire too young, you'll get bored. Almost 2 years into retirement, I haven't been bored a single
It's
day.
because you keep coming here, man. Joe, I got you in at 40. Oh, Lars Man's up to 45. Got you, Lars
The
Man.
Secret Invasion is a sweet piece. I could see
is.
these guys sort of.
And I will tell Mariano tomorrow that a
To
lot
do
of
another
action.
one?
Well, no, a lot of action on this book. Make him feel good.
Oh yeah, and they're doing the series too on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Secret Invasion.
That is Thanos on the CCA. Wait, is that Thanos? That's Thanos, isn't it?
That's
yeah.
Thanos.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, Ron, it's Thanos.
No,
I
it's
had to
Dark
check
Side.
myself. I had to check with the experts.
It's Dark
Actually, I had to
Side.
check with Robbie.
It's Mongol.
So
Mongol, nice.
Secret Invasion means Skrull, Marcus says.
It could be a Skrull, but I think
It
it's
could be a Skrull,
I
I guess,
interpret
yeah.
it as the real Thanos, but as Skrull Spidey. There you go.
Right.
Oh,
What do you
see?
say?
There's a
I'm
lot going
confused.
on here, man.
It's a lot to unpack there, bro.
Larsman and I are going to need to crack into more beers if we're going to have
I know.
conversations this deep.
I know. I wish I had a beer right now, dude. Nice cold one would be nice. I can't drink in the middle of the day. I actually have to, work. Crazy me.
People don't do that anymore. I mean,
You don't. So a couple of topics we want to cover tonight. All right.
yeah, a couple of things that I got a lot of all over the weekend. People asking if we were going to mention it. People who find me on Twitter or Instagram, thanks. We appreciate it. We don't want to take it for granted. You guys choose to join the show. We always really, really appreciate it. It makes the show. Otherwise, it's just me pestering Rex for stuff. That reminds me, I have more stuff I need.
Send me an email.
But send me an email. But a couple of questions we got. And I think the first question I got was, and I think we want to talk about this, was yes. I watched Peacemaker. I watched these things pretty much as soon as they dropped.
Time out. Robbie, have you caught up yet?
Of course not, but it's okay. It's okay.
All right. Continue, please. I just want to see if Robbie caught up now.
I know.
The Bond marathon is finally over.
Unfortunately, there's kind of no way to discuss this stuff without spoilers. I will just say Peacemaker as a character was terrible for almost the entirety of my comic book reading life. They've tried different spins and takes on it. It's always bad. It's always been a throwaway character. They finally found out, if you look at it almost as like a Rubik's Cube, right? Different writers, different artists, they're trying to figure out how to make this thing work. It never works. Every few years, somebody at DC is like, hey, you better put this out in the mix so we don't lose the rights to it or whatever. Finally, they got the right guy. I had said I wanted to see John Cena for a while in a comic book movie. I did not want to see him in Peacemaker or Suicide Squad. I think he's Ben Grimm. I think he's what they need to do Ben Grimm in the Fantastic Four properly.
He'd be a good Ben Grimm.
But they went the way they did. Larsman, you're absolutely right. Another big success for James Gunn. Love the guy, hate the guy. Either way, the guy's a winner. I mean, the guy finds weird properties. Did it with Guardians of the Galaxy.
That's the
Did
key.
it with Suicide Squad. I mean, let's be honest. Those Suicide Squad characters are just, you know what I mean? There's nothing happening there.
He has hey, Dwayne's a pain. What's going on, bud? I got to give James Gunn this much credit. I mean, he can take these weaker properties and turn it into something. I mean, part of it is the humor, I think. Yeah. This tongue-in-cheek kind of humor that he instills in every episode. But what was impressive to me was that last episode, and this is not really a spoiler because you stop to watch to understand what I'm saying, but they touched on every salient current political kind of issue.
The commentary was...
But they did it in such a way that both sides can be pissed, but both sides can't really point the finger because they did it in such a way that look at the source it's coming from. Because what I find ironic is when you get right down to it, There are no good guys.
The
There really
humor
aren't.
is what I call shotgun humor. There's no sniping at one party, one side,
Yes.
one this, one that. It's a shotgun. It's the grenade lobbed in the room, and I shut the door.
Yep.
And everybody gets it, whether you like it or not.
And
And I think that works. And I
Yes,
think
it
another
does.
thing, Larsman mentioned it, a couple other people mentioned it. When you get a French property, and I don't think we have any insider information here, but you do a French property, there's a lot more creative freedom
Yeah.
than if you and I sit down and we do Superman.
yes, because
Or
James
Batman.
Gunn, he's been able to be in that perfect spot because he comes from that trauma school of filmmaking, right?
Mhm.
Like cult films, silly, absurd, ridiculous, offensive in your face, subverting expectations, things like that. And he's able to bring it into these properties that maybe there's less eyes on Guardians of the Galaxy or on Suicide Squad after the other Suicide Squad movie, especially. And he's able to bring that in, but he does it in a way that also has mass appeal. So it's the best of
Yes.
both worlds. And then I fell in love with his work on the movie called Slither. It's got Nathan Fillion, Michael Rooker.
Oh my God, I forgot that movie.
If y'all have never seen Slither, that
Go see
movie
it.
is phenomenal. So and he brings that aesthetic even into like Hollywood big budget movies and has found a way to make it super successful, right?
JD, that's a great point. It's like what Deadpool did for Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
right. So Manny the Hobgoblin Collector, thanks for joining us, Manny. But he says, I hope they're not canceling Suicide Squad to center it around Peacemaker. I don't know anything. As John says, we have no inside information. We're too far down.
We should totally make
protocol.
stuff up.
Yeah, we totally make stuff up all the time.
Peacemaker season 2 and just give it a date, and then when it doesn't show up, we blame DC. Or
We'll go
Marvel.
viral.
Well,
Um,
the most recent Suicide Squad book did just get canceled, but it was already centered around Peacemaker. He was already a big deal. They were
I was
basically
gonna say, wasn't he already sort of the linchpin?
But here's
in
the
that
thing.
version?
But here's the thing. I mean, I don't think that's going to happen. Only because, right? Yeah, JD brings up a good point. As opposed to be totally centered around Harley. What I ended up doing after watching the last episode of Peacemaker was I went back and watched Suicide Squad, James Gunn version, again.
Yeah.
Just because, and realized that wow, it really was very gory. I didn't realize that. With
Oh,
the
yeah.
Slicing of it. I remember, but you don't remember. You know what I mean?
This is the James Gunn factor. Imagine when we go back in time when the first Suicide Squad movie comes out,
Right.
and I tell you, this movie has Will Smith in it.
Yes.
Imagine I tell you they're going to do this again in 3 years with John Cena, the wrestler, and it's going to be way better. You would be like, it's Time Traveler. What do you want, LSD? Get out of here. You wouldn't have believed that. You would have said, no, that's not possible, right?
Agreed.
When Will Smith signs on the dotted line, they back up the brakes truck because they know money's coming. And I wouldn't, Jared Leto, this is like a guy who's, I think the only person who emerged from that first version of Suicide Squad is the actress, I can't think of her name right now, I'm sorry, who plays Harley Quinn.
Margot Robbie.
Everybody loved her.
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie.
Yeah, Margot Robbie.
Everybody loved her. All the other characters, people were sort of like, ah. And also, I hate to say it, Will Smith, to use a pro wrestling term, Will Smith is a face. When Will Smith does movies where he's not the hero, unless it's like a critically acclaimed movie, nobody wants to see him be the bad guy.
Right.
See,
Everybody wants to see him be the good guy. That's just how it is.
I think the big mistake was doing a summer movie that you wanted to be a blockbuster starring Will Smith and not have a single song track that goes along with it with a dance.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
That
like
sounds
the
corny
Men in
to
Black
say, but it's
song.
an absolute point. Captain Boomerang was underused.
He was
They killed him
underused.
off quick.
He was underused in the James Gunn one too. And that's the
Yeah,
thing.
they killed
like,
him quick, dude. He was.
I was reading Suicide Squad when I was like first reading comics. I was like 8, 9 years old reading Suicide books that my stepdad had. And it was Captain Boomerang. It was Deadshot. Penguin was in there for a while. It was Bronze Tiger.
Bronze
And,
Tiger.
I get more of the feel of those books from the James Gunn one
Yep.
than the one before. Because it was just too dark and it was weird. And they misused so many different things, and
Yes,
including
yes.
the Joker. So
Yes, I agree. So Ron wants to know what the statue is tonight. So we're gonna go to the statue next before we have to go to our first break. So the
Do
statue
you have the
tonight.
image for this thing? Or do I
We
need
do,
to?
but I gotta you probably gotta show them the box. So Pathfinder Sione spellcasting collector statue, suggested retail of $199.99. It is a best offer item starting at $40. Now, here's the thing. I want everybody to realize that this particular one, that we have the one available tonight, the actual outer carton is damaged. The statue itself is in pristine condition, but the outer carton itself is damaged. So I want to make sure that everybody's aware of that. Do you mind holding the side up?
Sure.
Thank you. And it has been taped up, as you can see, but it is
right here.
You want to, yeah. You want to just move up to the camera?
I was going to say, I'm going to just, somebody's going to,
Yeah. So I always full disclosure. The box had come in damaged, but the statue is pristine. But I wanted to make sure everybody was aware of it because I do know some people like to have the boxes. So that's why it's a little bit. We're starting a little bit lower than we normally do. Best offer starting at $40. So yeah, you can see. So we've got some packing tape on there. But want to make sure everybody knows. And there's a sticky with the dimensions. Can you read that off?
Yeah, this is 12.5 inches high and 3.75 inches at the base.
So that is a best offer item starting at $40. All right, to anybody that's interested. And then I'm going to throw the other best item out there. Well, you know what? Let's leave that up. Let's go to our next break. And
you know what? I'll throw this out there too real quick. A lot of people don't realize Dynamite did a Pathfinder series. A few years ago, Pathfinder was super popular gaming system.
Yes.
I was at Gen Con a few years ago. Eric Mona ran a bunch of us through an adventure. The comics, Statue is beautiful, but go grab some of the back issues if you're a Pathfinder player because it's really well done. As well as I do. Sometimes you role play. And somebody comes out with a comic book version, and it's not what you'd hoped it was going to be. I think Pathfinder, partly, I think Eric Mona wrote some of that stuff. It's absolutely, if you're a Pathfinder player, go to your, hit up your LCS and ask them for Pathfinder from Dynamite. I think you'll be very, very. A good buddy of mine I played Pathfinder with said he had no idea. He had no idea Dynamite had done a series.
So, Ron, it is 12.5 inches high and it is 3 3/4 inches wide. All right. So those are the dimensions of the statue. Hey, John Spilios.
John.
Spilio. I have a friend who, a homie of mine, did some art for some of the Pathfinder books y'all published. I know he did a story in one of the Pathfinder Goblins, including a cover that's like a Frank Frazetta homage. His name's Kevin Stokes. Great friend of mine. Okay. So big fan of, I'm very familiar with some of the Pathfinder books y'all have done and very familiar with role-playing games at all.
All right. So we got to go to our first break. So stay with us. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Imagine being at a convention and going to an interview panel that's just for you. No bustling crowds, no hours-long lines, just you, the moderator, and your favorite comic book creators. Well, this is pretty much that. Miss Jen sits down every week with 2 comic book creators for a live stream interview about their latest work, and you can ask them whatever you want. It's Talking Shop, Mondays at 5 Eastern on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. To be continued. 3 little words that hold the secret to the next great story. 3 words that will thrill you, confound you, give life to new possibilities. Every variation of To Be Continued is a promise of adventure, a promise of excitement, a promise of unseen wonders and unexplored worlds. A promise that every issue you read makes you a part of a never-ending journey. And behind every page, there will be an unopened door waiting for you. This story to be continued at your local comic book shop today. Visit comicshoplocator.com today.
Hey, and we're back. John Spilios, what's going on, buddy? All right, I'm going to do a real quick recap for John.
Hold on 1 second. I want to just answer something. Sorry, I just want to
Yeah,
answer Larsman or something real quick. Larsman mentioned Gary Gygax. Being an old person and an old gamer, years and years and years ago when Gen Con was actually in Lake Geneva, not in Indianapolis, Ernie Gygax ran they used to do simuls where it would be 3 long tables, and each table would have a DM, but then there would be like a referee or sort of, and Ernie Gygax would come down and do it. And for a couple of years, we tried to get in, and finally we made it to the table. And I got to tell you, talking to some of these guys that were like the foundation of Dungeons and Dragons and role playing in this country, it's you know what I mean? They almost are surprised at how it spun out of control. We sat and we listened to Gary Gygax at a sort of, I guess, like, they didn't call them panels back then, but basically it was a panel. And you would be surprised, like very humble. Sometimes these things get out there that guys have huge egos and stuff like that. These guys were very humble. This was a thing that kind of started very organically. People with Blackmore and ditto sheets. Nobody under 40 knows what I'm talking about. But these were guys that were basically doing these, that ditto sheet smell, running them off after class or whatever. To see what it is now, first was Hasbro, and I forget who owns TSR now. I mean, this is legitimately an 8-figure industry that started with these guys making stuff up. They didn't even have dice. They used to have little pieces of paper with 1 through 20 written on them, and you would have to roll them in like a paper cup.
All right, so John Spilios, I did bring back the Punisher book signed by Romita Sr., so we'll get to that in a minute. I want to get let's do a quick recap since John just arrived. So, as always, we started with the Dynamite.
Ron, Bubba the Redneck Werewolf.
We started with the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles, suggested retail of $40 or higher, so $3.99 cover price or higher. And as always, we have it for $5. Then we had the Teen Titans number 20, signed by Jeff Johns from the DF Vault, suggested retail of $50. Is a best offer book starting at $20. And then this is the Wolverine he was talking about, John. Wolverine number 1, Scotty Young baby retailer variant, signed by Scotty Young, suggested retail of $89.99. Currently, Lars Mann is in the lead at $25.
Do we still have that Romita Senior sign?
We do. And then we had Secret Invasions number 1, signed and cover sketch art by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. Suggested retail of $89.99. Currently, Lars Mann is in the lead as the best offer book. Lars Mann is in the lead at $45. Then we did the Pathfinder Sione Spellcasting Collector's Statue. Suggested retail of $199. It is our best offer item starting at $40. I do want, for the sake of full disclosure, I do want to mention that the statue is pristine, but the box itself has been damaged. So that's why we're starting lower than we normally would on our best offer statue. So let's go since John has joined us, let's go ahead and go to Punisher number 1, Scotty Young, retailer incentive cover, signed by John Romita Sr.
Nice.
All right. So John Spilios, we are really light on Punisher stuff, my friend. So this is one I managed to find in our warehouse. So suggested.
Well, you better get cracking, sir.
Yeah, right.
Nobody's looking for me to find stuff.
Yeah, I know. Well, unless it's in this building.
I was going to say the last thing you want is me cruising through the Dynamite.
I should put you out there. There's a. All right, John, you got it, buddy. I will. So it's the best offer. So John Spilios is in the lead at 40. I was going to say I could say that there is a Green Hornet book hidden right next to the Punishers in the building.
And that's how the Punisher would get found.
And let you go to town.
Just go in there and use my Hornet sense.
Yeah, right.
And about the Punisher with the John Romita signature, John Romita is a co-creator of the Punisher. I don't think a lot of people realize that because I think Ross Andrew did the artwork, but back in those days, John Romita did all the character designs pretty much for new characters.
That is a very, very good point. So suggested retail of $499.99, and that's really on the low side. So it is. We have one available tonight for $400. But we can do 50% down and then 50% in 30 days to make it work.
You guys
for
know this
whomever.
is like 2 out of 5 books, right? There's 5 of these in the entire world, and that's like number 2.
Well, everybody knows now. Thank you, Amy.
Plus, we were talking about Jeff Johns being a.
Was Amy get your paycheck too? Because she does almost all your work.
I don't know. Let me check my bank account. Go ahead. What were you saying, Robbie?
Well, we were talking about Jeff Johns being a difficult signature to get these days.
Yes.
But how about John Romita? You know, so there you go.
All right.
John claims a good job.
John is taking it.
Yeah,
all right,
not
John.
to be, not to, you know, John Romita is, I think, for all intents and purposes, he's kind of done with signings. He's absolutely done going to cons and stuff like that.
Well, I mean, he's reached an age where he's kind of more or less retired.
Like an octogenarian creator, I guess
Right.
is the term they would use.
Hey, John, let us know. You can email me directly if you want. If you wanted to do 50% down and 50% in 30 days, or you just wanted to take care of the bill all at once, let me know. You don't have to put it on the chat. You can just email me. I know you have my email address. But it is a beautiful book. It absolutely
Yeah,
is.
John, that's a great pickup. Dwayne's right. That's
Yes.
Yeah, Dwayne's Pain's right. I have a prize. You were the winner of a prize, and I got to get that out to you, Dwayne's Pain. If you buy something tonight, I'll throw it out there in that shipment. Otherwise, I'll find a way to get it to you, buddy. No problem. Marcus says John Romita Sr. is 92. Yes. If we could all just be as lucky to live to that age.
92. Nobody wants me around that much longer. 92. Thanks.
I have no comment to that statement.
Don't sell yourself short, John.
I'm here for a good time, not for a long time.
So we are going to try. We've been talking about this, and I know Alec obviously is local now. He's not too far away from us. Robbie, unfortunately, is Alabama.
Why are you hitting Alabama?
Well, no. I'm talking about we're going to try to do that remote at a brewery.
Oh, I was going to say,
maybe
13,
if Robbie has time that night, he can join us via video. But we're going to try to get that together. I'll be talking to Arjon here about finding, because it's got to be his setup.
Nice, JD. We're so sorry that you're in Alabama. Why are you banging on the guy's home state?
I will actually be in Alabama, I believe, in July of this year.
Oh wow!
I will actually be at the Gulf Coast. So I have a trip July. I think it's the last week of July. It reminds me, I got to turn in my vacation time.
The complete opposite end of the state.
You think you get
for me.
vacation here? I have bad news when we're off
It's
the
the
air.
law, Pally. I checked the labor laws of the state of New
It's the
Jersey.
law.
John Spilios, my pleasure, buddy. I'm glad that you got the book. I'm glad.
Nick Rex is trying to leave again.
You know, I know people hear Alabama, and I get what they think, but I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, the Rocket City, so it's just a little bit better than what.
Yeah, we don't know what that means. We're from New Jersey.
Look it up. It's literally, we're like one of the best places to live in the United States of America.
You
Look
don't
it up.
watch For All Mankind on Apple TV?
No.
You should. They talk
Apple
about the whole
TV
thing.
is the one streaming service I actually do not have.
Don't admit that on the air.
Why do I care? We talk about everything.
All
here.
of a sudden, the viewership starts dropping off.
America knows I eat spam. I mean, come on. I'm not
That's
talking about the
fine.
email type.
No, I was down in the Gulf Coast like 9-10 years ago.
Yeah, you've been there. You know what the white chili is their specialty, right?
Yeah,
I remember you saying
they
that
have
months
a white
ago.
barbecue sauce. I stayed,
that's right, white
I stayed at
barbecue
a
sauce.
hotel where they were filming a thing for Food Network about regional barbecue. And I got to tell you, we almost made ourselves sick. It was me and like 7 or 8 other guys I went to college with. We wanted to get together for a while. Finally, we decided to get together down there. I think it was like the Marriott Bayfront or something. Anyway, all of a sudden we see food trucks and everybody's looking at me and I'm like, don't look at me. And it turned out they were doing some kind of barbecue thing over there. And I got to tell you, the food was delicious. The food was so good in the hotel, we didn't even have to leave the hotel. We did. But the waterfront area had some amazing stuff. Or I guess it's Bayfront area maybe. But the hotel itself, the food was, and I'll tell you right now, if you haven't had a breakfast sandwich with like smoked chicken and white barbecue sauce, egg, and cheese on a biscuit. You're missing out, man.
Really good.
You're the lady. Everybody was ordering real breakfast at our table, and I'm looking at the menu, and the woman's like, "Oh, what's the matter?" I'm like, "I'm kind of like from New Jersey." I said, "I'm a breakfast sandwich guy. I don't do this sort of." And she's like, "I got just the thing for you." And she comes back, and it's on a biscuit, and I got to tell you, man. I ate to failure, and then I needed a nap.
I am so hungry right now.
The food down in Bama is screaming. Like, I'm just saying, go to a
kind of stuff I want to know. Yeah,
go to a ratty gas station that's got barbecue or fried chicken, and just go to town. Like, there you go.
Well, my daughter's gonna be going with me. The last time we tried that, she wasn't too happy with it. We were coming back from Rock Hill, South Carolina, and we were driving. And we got so far behind because of traffic and stuff, and I wanted barbecue. The plan was on the road on the way home, we would stop at a barbecue. I'm like, we're gonna be on the road for 13 hours, man. We got to be able to find a barbecue joint. Only barbecue joint that was on our path home was a truck stop. I personally thought it was pretty good. They had both Texas and Carolina barbecue. I had their pulled barbecue pork sandwich. I thought it was awesome. My daughter, I recently just found out. I think I was having dinner with her and her boyfriend. She apparently hated it. I'm like, you tell me this now? She had to be, I don't know. I guess wasn't too long ago. I guess she was about 16, 15.
I understand back in the day, maybe stopping at a roadside when you're far from another state. But come on, man. There's nobody alive under like 70 that hasn't seen Guy Fieri. You know all the good food is at diners, drive-ins, and dives. The guys, every week he said,
I thought it was excellent, personally.
They're telling you fried chicken, barbecue. You're looking for a guy in the parking lot of the gas station with maybe a little shack, right? He's got like some kind of little trailer thing, and he's got a smoker on there, and you know what I mean? This is where you want to go and get food. Don't get me wrong. I'm not bagging on the restaurant industry, but I've had better meals in my truck than I've had at, you know what I mean, places that have been nominated for James Beard Awards. The styrofoam plate, you know what I mean, like the 32-ounce drink.
This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But my daughter not impressed. All right, so Ron asked about the mega pack, so we're gonna get to that one next.
Somebody asked about Elvira too. I'm kind of
It is not an omnibus. It is actually a photo cover, and it is signed by Elvira. So we'll get to that next up. Hey Jen, what's going on? What's for sale today? Well, we'll do another recap in a minute here. Okay, so Amy, what? The price on the mega set. All right, so tonight's mega set
and JD, you're absolutely right. Anybody who's been to Comic-Con knows the best meal you get. Well, there's two really good meals. If you want to go broke, you go to Lou and Mickey's, and it's easily $100, $125 a person. If you want to spend that money at the con in the dealers' rooms, you go find someone who's got a folding table between Ralph's and the con. There's tons of these guys. They're doing like Sonora hot dogs on these little kind of folding cart. They'll have like a propane bottle in a metal shopping cart. And this is where you find all this great food, man. I mean, sure, don't get me wrong. I love Lou and Mickey's. I go down to Comic-Con, go down to San Diego. I have 3 or 4 meals over there. But,
all right. So John Spilios has a question for you, but let me get to the mega pack.
Yeah, first, I was going to do the mega pack first.
All right. So the mega pack is a Dynamite mega pack tonight. So it includes Chaos #1, Turner cover signed in gold by Tim Seeley, the Shadow Year 1 #1 original art edition, cover sketch art by Will Torres, Kirby Genesis #0 DF exclusive signed in silver by Alex Ross, and Red Sonja Price of Blood #1 CGC guaranteed 9.8. All of it. We have one of these sets available tonight for $149. Which is a bargain if you just got the Alex Ross signature on it.
I was going to say, to get an Alex Ross signature is probably coming up on $150.
Yeah, easily. So that is the mega kit of the night.
Plus Michael Turner artwork. That's dope.
And then we'll let John finish his answer John Spilios' question, and then we'll do a
John,
quick recap.
real quick, because, we do have a lot of stuff to get through, but I did read Draculina. And I try to, shoot real straight with you guys. It's a slow start. It's not bad, but it's not as good as I'd hoped. I'm confident that I'm going to hold my judgment until I see the whole sort of until I see the whole story. But it wasn't. I don't think it had the start that Nick's did. And I think right now, Dynamite is in a sweet spot of storytelling. Vampirella, Red Sonja, Barbarella, everything is sort of hitting. I talk to the creators a lot on social media, and everybody is sort of and I think Draculina is almost like, and I'm not bagging on the creative team, I think they're just trying to find a gear, right? Because if you talk to Tom Stigowski, he talks about he's done Vampirella for 20 years, but before him, there were other people doing Vampirella. Right. Everybody sort of had a roadmap. When you have a character like Draculina, there's not so much of a roadmap. Plus, Nick has mentioned this before. He's a publisher that has complete faith in his creators. He doesn't micromanage. He doesn't sit there and tell people, let's be honest. You're writing a big 2-story, chances are as a creator, you're given a list of do's and don'ts. You know what I mean?
No, I got
I've never known Nick to talk about doing that. He has faith in his creators, and then they just kind of do the process from there. And I think Draculina maybe would have benefited from a run 10 years ago from someone else. So the creators would have had something. Essentially, Draculina, you could make the argument, is a new character.
So Lars, man,
this version is a new character.
Thanks for saying that, my friend. All right, so we're going to do a quick recap since we've had a few other viewers join us. So I'm going to blow through it really fast. As always, Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles on sale for $5, 50 cents a copy. You can't lose there. Teen Titans number 20, signed by Jeff Johns from the DF Vault. One of our best offer items, starting at $20. And so far, we have no offers yet. Then we had Wolverine number 1, Scotty Young baby retailer variant, signed by Scotty Young. Also a best offer book. Lars Man is in the lead at $25.
That's just a great cover, man.
It is a great cover. Secret Invasions number 1, signed and remarked by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. Suggested retail of $89.99. It is a best offer book, and currently Lars Man is in the lead at $45. And let's see. Then we had Pathfinder Statue, Spellcasting Collector Statue, suggested retail of $199.99. Is the best offer statue of the night. John Spilios is currently in the lead at $40. And again, full disclaimer, the statue is in pristine condition, but the box itself has damage on the one side. So I want to make sure everybody knows that. That's probably why we're starting a little. That's why we're starting a little bit lower than we normally do.
And JD, you're right. That Scotty Young cover does very much have Calvin and Hobbes energy.
Yes.
It very much does. Good evening, Spider Girl. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for joining us, Spider Girl. I think we had somebody else.
We might have somebody else pop in too.
Yeah. Who was it? Let's see. Manny's Different Perspectives. Thanks for joining us, Manny. Station, brother.
And Marcus, you're right too. The bacon wrapped hot dogs they do outside of Comic-Con, outside the convention center, I got to tell you, those are worth the flight to San. If you're a foodie, those are worth the flight to San Diego. You watch these people. You get to the con in the morning, they're already out there. You leave the con 11 o'clock at night, they're still out there. Nonstop.
Best empanadas I've ever had came from a food truck.
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. The guy was so busy, and they should have had somebody help him. He was like all by his lonesome, and the line was ridiculous.
I mean, tacos, even coffee. There's a coffee vehicle like parked a block from Comic-Con because it's San Diego.
Right.
The line stretched at one point. 2 young women run the truck. From their truck, like the line's bumped up from where, like if everybody's in the Comic-Con, anybody's, you're waiting for Hall H, right? There's a massive crowd of Doctor Who people waiting, and then the truck line, and it's almost like they're touching. They're almost back to back. And it's funny, I'm looking, and I'm like, I'm going to opt for a cortado. So I went in the food truck line.
All right, so let me get the last best offer item of the evening. That is Purgatory number 2, sold out limited edition, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle homage. Incentive variant cover by Ken Hazer. This is a Dynamite premium metal cover.
Metal cover. These things.
So suggested retail of $100, and we have it as our, last best offer book of the night. This is really the last one. Starting at $19.92.
That's a steal.
I realize these things are still a little bit kind of new, so I just, want to mention it's not a foil.
No, it's
You know what I mean? It's not like metallic ink.
I wish you just let me whip one out and cut you on the arm there. I can show people that it's like a.
You see, you brought up that one-arm boxer thing, and now all of a sudden,
what you should do? Can you cut a tomato with it after you cut into John? That's the question.
Ginsu cover. John claims purgatory.
All right. So
what's the best offer, right?
Wait,
all right, it's the best offer.
John, it's the best offer.
So John, large man is at 20 on the purgatory. Let me know if you want to put in another offer, buddy. But John is currently in the lead. So John Spilios, large man is currently in the lead. John Spilios, this is a best offer book. So that covers all the best offer books of the night.
And I'll tell you now, this summer when everybody's running around the cons looking for these metal covers and nobody has them, you're going to be super glad that you bought them now, because there's going to be some dealer who's going to say, "Oh yeah, sure, I have this cover," and they're going to want $300 for it.
And then what will happen is John will set up this collapsible table, and he'll be hawking the metal covers for us,
wrapped in bacon.
No, the next time I go to a con, I better be at the Dynamite.
Yeah, who mentioned that about the hot? I think it was Marcus. Marcus, of course, the bacon wrapped hot dogs are better than the ones you buy on at the convention itself, because, well, it's wrapped in bacon.
Yeah. So ergo, next week we need a bacon wrapped metal Dynamite cover is what we need.
Oh boy.
Well, I mean, even Duck Donuts. Okay, I mean they have their bacon sprinkled donut.
Sprinkled donuts.
Oh my gosh! I mean,
you had a request from Ron to do a CCA, and there was still.
Oh yes,
I got requests too, man.
There's still the Elvira request, right? Still the Elvira request.
Yes. You know what? All right. So let's do the Elvira real quick, and then we'll get to the next CCA. All right. So the Elvira, Mistress of the Dark #1, photo cover signed by Elvira. Suggested retail is $75, and we have one available tonight for $66.
I love the color on this. I really do. I sort of love it's not like blood red.
Dwayne's a Pain, I think, is going to claim that. Dwayne's a Pain, you got it, buddy.
That's a great pickup, man. I love this sort of EC Comics energy.
And just confirm that it was the Elvira signed book. Yeah, I mean, I find her amazing. That she's still doing this and still
she's a horror icon. She's a horror icon, and know I love going to these horror cons and meeting these people. I've never met Elvira. It is something that I really do plan on doing one day, hopefully. So that's a really cool pickup.
It is.
She's really she's a very warm sort of giving person, right? Like she knows that she sort of has like a certain place in pop culture, the hearts of people, and she really embraces that. I've met her, been fortunate to meet her a couple of times actually. She was recently up in a North Jersey bookstore, and it was freezing cold, and she stayed there the whole time.
She has a tremendous relationship and interaction with her fans.
Yeah,
that's probably the easiest way to put it, is that she and a lot of people don't, a lot of people of notoriety, they don't really appreciate the fans. She takes it very seriously. I know that just from, I've never met her either, but just from hearing, conversations while we're working with her through the company. And she is always concerned of, how the fans feel, or, anything that we put out there has to be something that she believes the fans will like. So, let's see. So Stevie B says, Purgatory seems like a practical book with summer coming. You can use it to read and tan in your backyard. We cannot guarantee the reflectiveness of the metal covers, although I expect you should probably wear a lot of sunscreen, 50 SPF or higher.
No, go ahead and guarantee it.
You could probably shave with it, though.
Maybe we'll give John a free copy and we'll find out. All right, so hold on. All right, so Stevie B is at 25 on it. The Purgatory. Gotcha, Stevie B. All right. So
yeah, John is right. She's been I've met her at she was up at Emerald City Comic-Con. I'm going to say maybe it was 8 or 9 years ago, which is a great sort of the way there's a road to WrestleMania, there's a road to Comic-Con in San Diego. And one of the great stops is in Seattle. She was up there for the day, and we watched the movie. We watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and then lights came up, and she did like this Q&A. There was not one person, and there probably was 400 people in this room. There was not one person that did not get a picture, an autograph, ask a question, whatever.
Well, look at what John Spilios just put up. He met her one time, was her bodyguard while she signed items, stayed way after she was supposed to. Cool. You have a lot of, whether they be comic creators, but you see a lot with sports stars. They come in and they're there for 15 minutes, and whatever they were contracted to do, they do, and they're gone. And not to disparage.
I've seen it from TV stars and movie stars. Yeah, like some Power Rangers.
I'll give you one example. I mean, not to disparage the past, but those that have passed. But Willie Mays was notorious. He was the angry man of baseball, and he used to show up at the sports shows, sports conventions. And I remember being there because he had contracted with our company, and he signs a baseball, literally rolls it back over the table to the person. Doesn't smile, doesn't talk to them, doesn't engage, just signs a signature, rolls it back.
But he's one of the GOATs, so I guess we can allow that.
Hey, listen, at the basket catch, there's no way anybody can ever, for God's sakes, you got to remember Ty Cobb's in the Hall of Fame as well.
You can imagine what he had to deal with in his career. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
There are people who are angry and they're just angry, and there's people that are angry and you're like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's when it's, I'm talking about little kids too. They don't know this stuff. Did he get the recognition he deserved? Probably not. I'll be the first to agree with it. Without a doubt, one of the best baseball players of all time. But so was Ty Cobb. Ty Cobb used to sharpen his metal cleats.
Oh yeah.
Okay, to come in and make sure he gouged someone.
There's all kinds of things about Ty Cobb.
No doubt.
But at least he didn't do steroids, I guess.
Signs hadn't caught up yet.
I just got a text from Ron's attorney. He would like to see CCA before he files suit.
Okay.
He feels the suit is. He feels the show is in breach of contract.
It's okay. I'm not a principal of the company, so it wouldn't come to my office anyway.
My name isn't on anything.
Your name is probably on more stuff than my name. All right, so
Promiscuous Time Traveler, man, this is like
Promiscuous, what's going on,
buddy?
That is an awesome screen name.
Man.
All right, so let me see. Where are the CCAs? Okay, so
that's what Ron was wondering. Where
I know, right? Okay, here's a good one. Let's start off with this one because I love this one.
Ron, are you still here, or did he run off? He got tired of waiting.
Or maybe his wife tased him. So all right, so we got Avengers #1, Black Panther sketch by Ken Hazer. And this was a kind of a commemorative cover. Let's see here. Okay, so suggested retail of $89.99. We have it as one of our 5-star at $50 books, and I'm sure we'll get one. We'll get the pic thrown up in a minute. So that's Avengers #1, Black Panther sketch by Ken Hazer. There it is.
That's
so.
I can't. I love the Ken Hazer stuff. What am I going to say? And this is not a guarantee, but I'm going to throw it out there. But you know what? We'll surprise everybody when we get back from break at 7:01. I didn't even realize it.
Okay.
So we're going to go to break. We'll be back in a couple minutes.
Talk amongst yourselves. Who's going to buy this book?
Hey,
We
and we're back.
are back. So,
Go ahead.
here's the deal. We really appreciate everybody that's here. Please hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, whatever. If we can get to 20 likes tonight, we can do the CCA, the Avengers Black Panther CCA, for whoever claims it for $19.66, which is a steal by any sort of metric for Ken Hazer work. I mean, we've talked about this before. Work is crazy. You know what I mean? Follow Ken. Go find him on Instagram if you want to see some pretty
All right,
stuff.
Lars Man is claiming it. All right, Lars Man. Hopefully we get to 20 likes, and then you'll get it for $19.66, brother. And Lars Man, if you are you are absolutely welcome to fly in and join us for our pub show. That would be awesome. John Spilios. Unfortunately, I think Lars Man was just ahead of you, brother.
He was just ahead of you, bud.
Yeah, he just claimed it, my friend.
Stevie B, we had a conversation. Stevie B is mentioning seeing Richard Kiel.
Yes, Richard Kiel.
Vegas.
That's right.
And I'll tell you right now, and this is a story. The reason I'm telling you the story is it kind of has a happy ending. I was at Comic-Con, and I'm going to say maybe it was like 2013 or 2014. Way off in the middle of nowhere is Joe Straczynski. This is sort of after his Spider-Man stuff. Or I don't know if he hadn't started the Spider-Man run yet, but he's way out in the middle of nowhere, and there's nobody there. And Joe Straczynski is one of the best storytellers for books, comic books, and television that I've ever seen any of the works on. And nobody was talking to him.
Hold that thought for one second. All right, Lars, man, you got it for $19.66. JD just updated us that we're beyond 20 likes right now. So You got it, brother. I'm sorry. Please continue.
Awesome. No, that's way more important. Anyway, shortly thereafter, Joe Straczynski, he's doing Spider-Man. The next time I see the guy, he's in like it's standing room only. Nobody can get in there. And he's talking about things he's going to be working on. He's taking Babylon 5 questions. The year after that, the con was canceled, but HBO Max announced they were bringing Babylon 5 back. So this is one of these stories where everybody sort of has their I'm trying to think of a good way to put this. Everybody sort of has their sweet spot, right? And sometimes you catch someone out of their sweet spot and they're just sort of, out of their sweet spot. But then other times you catch someone. I remember seeing George Foreman at a sports show years ago and nobody knew who he was. And then the next thing you know, he's
John
doing
the other person who was looking for the Avengers CCA.
It was John Spilios.
John, just for you, we'll try to find a second one, okay?
Oh,
right, let's
see that?
John, we'll take a look. We don't know if we have them, but we will absolutely take a look for you.
Ronald wants to get to a slabbed book.
Ronald has a whole agenda when he watches this show. He wants the books turned around.
He wants to buy things.
Book.
He's got a weird
something
agenda.
special in his order when he's
All
going to
right,
get
so
something.
all right, so let's get to a CCA here. Hold on. All right, so we have. Oh, well, here we go. Let's do this one. We'll blow through the slab books real quick.
Nice.
All right, so we had this last time, and this is probably the last time we're going to air it on the experience shows. If it doesn't sell tonight, that's cool, but we'll probably move it to either our website or somewhere else. We had we had this last week. Batman Damned #1, Jim Lee variant, CGC graded 10.0. So it's just a retail of $600, although I've seen it floating between $700 and $1,200. But tonight we have it for $400.
I peeked on eBay and they had one at like $770, and it was still going.
So it's also something we'd be willing to do 50% down and 50% 30 days if it helps anybody out. But that is available tonight. And
You're
then
telling me that this is a 10.0 CGC slab first appearance of Little Wayne. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about, my friend. All right. So the next book, slab book up, is Vengeance of Vampirella #17, CGC graded, guaranteed 9.8.
I love this cover.
We have a suggested retail of $89.99. We have one available for $69. So that is also available tonight. Let's see. Marcus says, I saw Dave Gibbons with no lines when he was signing for a video game company in San Diego Comic-Con. If he was signing for a comic
company with the long lines. He's right. That's kind
sense.
of a little bit what I meant by the sweet spot. You know, you've got people, they jump now from movies to television to comics to video games. And, you know, if they're, I'd also suggest this too. You know, Comic-Con is essentially a comic convention. If you're big in a separate, you know, if you go to a Twitter convention, maybe everybody isn't going to know you from Instagram, right? And it's the same thing here. I've seen game developers that are wildly popular just walking through Comic-Con. Alton Brown, who's a huge culinary entertainer in this country, walked right past me at Comic-Con. Nobody turned their head. Every once in a while, somebody kind of look and nod, and you could tell they were like a food person. But, you know, when people kind of step outside their lane, you know, you kind of get this sort of...
Yeah. I mean, that's a very good point.
It's such a good cover. Is what, Lucio Perillo?
Yep. I think so, right?
Yeah.
Take a look.
It's a gorgeous cover.
You should know by now, but it's a gorgeous cover.
All right, so let's see. What should we do? Oh, here's another. Let me see. Hold on, I just lost it. Okay, here we go. So we have Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures #1, signed with sketch cover art by Ken Hazer. So that is suggested retail of $89.99, and we have one available tonight, 5-star at $50.
Oh man!
All right. So the announcement I was going to make before we went to break. So we are working on, but have not confirmed that we might have some Peacemaker CCAs there in the near future.
Oh,
nice.
A little Peacemaker, a little Vigilante. Absolutely Eagly. You got to have Eagly. My favorite character in the show. So don't know when. We're working on it. Hope to have it real soon. And obviously, we'll have it on the air.
That's awesome.
As one of our premier CCAs. But I'm looking forward to that.
I've always thought that the Vigilante design was really cool. So I'd like to see what they can do with that.
Yeah. So may even have something we can kind of preview the image maybe on Wednesday or next Monday.
Maybe. I saw a great comment that said in the Peacemaker show, Vigilante is like if Napoleon Dynamite grows up wrong. And I got to tell you, that seriously cracked me up when I read that. I don't know the name of who said it, but I thought, you know what? That's not that far off the mark.
All right. So, all right. And then we have what I would call a remark. All right. After we get this one. So
you kids and your new terms, I don't even know how these things work anymore.
Kids, please.
LMNOP, ABC, CCA. Everybody's like, suddenly we're like an on-demand show. Turn the books around, do this, do that.
Oh, you know what? We should do that. We'll probably do it during a break. All right. So
absolutely.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Foot Clan #1, DF exclusive cover, remarked in silver and signed by Ken Hazer. Now, the reason I'm calling this a remark is because it's a true remark.
It's a true remark where I think by definition, a real remark was a creator would put a sketch on kind of an existing cover, maybe augment the cover, whatever. The CCA is literally, it's just a blank sheet of paper.
Yeah.
A blank cover.
I would agree. They're totally different types of collectibles, if you will. So Jeff, hey, how you doing? Thanks for joining us, buddy. Agreed. He does look like Napoleon.
Jeff, seriously, I don't know who it was that said that. We were kind of having like a comics chat on Twitter, and the next thing you know, somebody says, Vigilante is Napoleon Dynamite grown up wrong. I was like, gosh.
All right. You know what? We will do a quick recap just for anybody that's joining us a bit late. So as always, we had the Dynamite 10-pack reader set, 10 random Dynamite titles with a cover price, each one having a cover price of $3.99 or higher. So suggested retail of $40 or higher. As always, as a thank you to our viewers, we have it for $5 for the 10-pack, so 50 cents a copy. Then we had Elvira, but that was claimed by Dwayne DePayne. We still have Teen Titans #20, signed by Jeff Johns from the DF Vault. suggested retail of $20. It is one of our best offer books starting at $20. Then we just had the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Secret of the Foot Clan #1, DF exclusive cover, remarked in silver and signed by
That's
Ken
sweet.
Hazer.
That's a sweet
You know what? Let's make that 1984.
All right,
The year
so-
the Turtles first hit. So first person to claim it gets it in 1984.
All right, so the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles that you're seeing on your screen right now, it is we have one available. It is a buy it now item for $19.84.
Nice.
Then we had Wolverine #1, Scotty Young, baby retailer variant, signed by Scotty Young, suggested retail of $89.99. It is a best offer item. Lars Man is in the lead at $25. Then we had Avengers #1 with Black
Claimed.
Panther, claimed by Lars Man. I know.
No, the Turtles.
Oh, the Turtles were claimed. Cool. All right, Lars Man, hold on a second. Let me get you down here.
All right, Lars, man, you're getting first choice here.
Thanks, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone who
We're going to
subscribes.
make the Jeff Johns Teen Titans 1992, the year that Dynamic Forces first started.
Wait,
you sure about
as
that
it
date?
abide now?
As a buy it now, 1992.
All right, so
Nice.
buy it now. All right.
This is
so-
really Jeff Johns' breakout book when you think about it. I mean, The Flash was a breakout book as well, but as far
Yeah.
as him really taking control and getting the recognition he deserved, taking it to the next level.
And taking those characters from Young Justice and creating the new iteration of Teen Titans. I remember
Yeah.
just being all game for this. And he's the one that brought in the idea
JD
that
Clemson.
Superboy is
All
made
right,
up
JD.
of Kal-El's
Yeah, buddy.
DNA and Lex Luthor's. And
Yeah.
he goes through this whole story. And what's funny is you can find an old letter. I don't remember what comic it was, but Jeff Johns wrote in as a fan suggesting that Lex Luthor was the secret DNA proponent in Superboy's legacy. And then he becomes a comic book writer and gets to do it. And it's pretty cool.
Well, when you also think about it, Jeff Johns, much like Brian Michael Bendis kind of really exploded at Marvel, Jeff Johns is the Brian Michael Bendis, Mark Millar of DC.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You know, he was there. He did Stars and Stripes. He was doing JSA when he did Teen Titans.
Love
He
those.
really, really was the homegrown superstar.
He brought Richard Donner in to do Superman comics with him. That's how big of a name he became. Plus, he worked with him beforehand. So that was super
Exactly.
cool. Infinite Crisis. Oh, I love all that stuff.
Hey, man, just remember one thing when it comes to Infinite Crisis. Joker doesn't like to be left out.
That's my favorite bit in the whole thing.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, so since we were just talking about him, let's do Action Comics #1000. Jim Lee main cover, signed in silver by Brian Michael Bendis.
Nice.
Suggested retail of $69.99. We have one available for $38 for 1938 when Action Comics #1 hit. So that is available tonight. We have one available at that price.
Brian Michael Bendis is another one of those guys. Saw him at a smaller con, and he loves telling this story. Apparently, he talked about like the dark days at Marvel, where he's the first person I heard this story from. I guess they were bought by Revlon and were going to be sold by someone else and didn't know what was going on. And he's literally like the last man on the wall. Like 90% of the bullpen is dark, and he's sitting there at his desk, and it's cold. And he's like, I'm literally Bob Cratchit with the gloves and the fingers. And they're like, essentially, he didn't want to say there was no editorial supervision, but they were like, look, man, just,
whatever.
Whatever. And so that's how the Ultimates and that whole sort of, the millennium sort of boost of traditional Marvel characters came about. Because he even said he would do something and he would wait for them to be like, no, you can't do that, right? Like his idea of, is Thor really God of Thunder, or is he just kind of nuts? Somebody that stole.
Manny, thanks for joining us, buddy. We appreciate you taking the time out
Thanks,
of your evening,
Manny.
buddy.
You can all catch Manny over at my channel later tonight for a Weird Science movie review. So,
That's
cool.
right. Weird Scientist tonight. That's right. I remember.
yep.
I have to admit, that was one of my favorite movies.
You're right, Lars, man. It would be like being owned by Sears today. I guess,
that was
Revlon,
a weird deal.
There was a very bizarre, like a makeup companies buying comic books. Whatever.
It was there was a weird last ditch effort there, right? They put Bendis on Ultimate Spider-Man. They bring in Millar to do Ultimate X-Men. And then Harris is out, Joe Quesada comes in, right? And then when Joe Quesada came in as editor-in-chief, you saw a game change, and it was bringing in indie creators. Mike Allred was coming in to do an X-Force book. Like, it's insane to think that happened at some point, but it revitalized them. And Grant Morrison coming in to do New X-Men, and J. Michael Straczynski coming in to do Spider-Man. That was all Joe Quesada, because he was like, what are y'all doing? The best talent's out there, and you're not utilizing it. We got to utilize it.
This is a callback to what we were talking about earlier, though, Robbie, with Suicide Squad, right? When you don't have the barrier, right? Like, we sit down, and we both joke around about this a lot. We sit down to do Batman. You know as well as I do, there's a bunch of boxes we have to check off, right? We got to deal with legal. We got to deal with continuity issues. You know, I can't have Batman stab someone in the face. There's like a whole list of stuff I can't do. When you get to that point of, I don't want to be too melodramatic, but Bendis said people legitimately didn't know if it was the end of Marvel Comics or not. You know, this is coming from him. He's like, there was a lot of uncertainty. He's like, I grew up and Marvel was the house of ideas. He's like, I was working there, and for a time, they didn't even have the lights on or the heat on in like 2/3 of the offices. So, you know what I mean? Kevin Smith talks about this too. I just saw Larsman mention Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith talks about there was a time where he couldn't imagine Marvel, you know, like, and then you got to a point where you pick up the phone and like you'd call and editors were answering the phone because all the office people had been let go.
So Lee Bizzle, I will check for you, my friend. I apologize. I do not know off the top of my head, but I will look in our inventory and see if I can find something there, my friend.
Yeah, Mark had a real good run on Red Sonja not too long ago.
I was going to say, well, if there's a Mark Russell signature, probably Red Sonja, I would think.
All right. I will take a look tomorrow, my friend. All right, so let's see what else we got left here. Talking about Red Sonja, let's do this one. So we got Sword of Red Sonja #2, signed by Luke Lieberman. Suggested retail of $29.99. It is. We have one available for $19.73. So now, John,
that's a strong cover, man. That's a really strong cover.
So John had brought some,
that cover's giving me Weird Science vibes. No lie. Like when she first shows up from the
from the smoke in the bathroom. Yes. So Lars Man is claiming it. You got it, Lars Man.
Yeah. What do you maniacs want to do?
What do you little maniacs want to do?
So I think John Spilios a lot earlier said he's going to join your Weird Science movie review tonight. So I absolutely love that movie. I mean, I you know, when that came out, that was just like the best movie. John Hughes had he had a run there, boy.
Oh, he did. I love that movie as a kid. I will say this, some things didn't age the best, but context is everything. But
yes,
that is true. Have a lot of fun revisiting it. I got the Steelbook Arrow release on Blu-ray because I'm a nerd like that. So yeah.
Someone see The Breakfast Club didn't age well. And I'm like, look, I'm not going to argue movies with people. They like what they like. But you have an entire generation of adults that their whole sort of life is predicated on like an hour and 48-minute movie in The Breakfast Club, right? It's
Breakfast
how people
Clubs.
identified themselves. It's how they sort of decided what social groups to fit into. If somebody doesn't like the movie, that's fine. But you watch The Breakfast Club and you look at everybody between 35 and 50, and there's The Breakfast Club.
I would say The Breakfast Club is like Citizen Kane for 80s kids.
Yeah, yes. I would say that's absolutely
right. I'd say that's a good analogy. So Lars Man says
that Chris Claremont documentary, I've seen that. That's really good.
I'm telling you, man, they were the ones that I followed back in the day. As you say, Breakfast Club defined our generation. To me, I don't know what they mean by it didn't age well.
There's some now. I'll say that in Weird Science, there's some jokes and some language that doesn't age well. But all I'm talking about is just like what we will tolerate today. Like John Hughes today would have done a different thing. You get what I'm saying? Like the scene in Weird Science where he's like jive talking because he's in a predominantly black
there
car.
Are certain things that are a little,
little things. Breakfast Club, though, I think Breakfast Club is exactly how kids talked back then. and how they acted. And it was about, that's the other thing that really holds true with Weird Science. We'll talk about this tonight, but John Hughes understands, and it's crazy because he wasn't a kid in the 80s, but he knows what it's like to be a teenager. He remembers that. Well, and he brought it across. Yeah.
Well, I think in Pink, 16 Candles. He understood. The guy kind of dialed into the fact that
he understood the nature of things at that point in time, reflected in his movies, and that's why they were so popular. There was so much success. I mean, you know, we all watched it. It became defining movies of that era. So, Marcus says the bullying and panty staring scenes does not age well in Breakfast Club. Today is a different world. I mean, things are looked upon through a different lens than it was then.
Today, it would just be seedy photos that someone got on IG from an ex-boyfriend or something. Do you get what I'm saying? They'd be sharing that. Like, it's...
Yeah, I mean,
kids are still skeevy. Trust me, right? Yeah, they still bully and stare at panties.
Yeah. They just do it. They just do it through social media.
Like cyberbullying. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. I don't ever want them to remake The Breakfast Club, but there's absolutely a story to be made there, to be told about, you know, kids in detention at a modern day high school. That's a story that you could tell now. That's a story you could have probably told 40 or 50 years ago. That's a story you could probably tell 40 or 50 years from now if we still have high schools.
I don't know.
Is going to be an app.
I don't know that you could tell it anymore, not because there isn't a story to tell, but because, I don't know, society has come to a point now where you can't say anything and there's a faction of society that's going to be offended. You know, I mean, unless so to a certain degree, I mean, we say that you know, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, that the movie industry has turned into nothing but these blockbuster superhero films and, you know, these types of action
films.
I
want it to stay that way. I don't want to see any more talking movies. I just want to see superhero stuff. If you don't land on your knee when you jump off a rooftop,
your remote control has a button. It's called mute. Okay. So.
Nice hashtag Dynamite's not skeevy for tonight's prize.
So I guess for me, I don't know how you can tell that story without touching on these controversial issues, you know. And if you don't, and you kind of gloss over or wash over it, then the movie has no substance. You know.
Well, the cool thing about John Hughes and especially Breakfast Club is, and what I would love to see a lot of filmmakers do today is, who cares? Tell a real human story.
Yeah.
And that's all that's going to matter. That makes it timeless, and it's not dated and say certain hot topics, buzzwords, or politics of its time. Do you know what I'm saying?
So Marcus is saying most comedies and rom-coms are streaming now. Well, that's true, but most everything is streaming now thanks to the pandemic. But you do see an overexposure of these types of movies, and I think part of it is because there isn't that potential for controversy. You know, everything exists in a fantasy world.
Well, I talked about this. I called into a movie podcast about a year ago, and my take on it was this: people are like, everything is superheroes now. Everything is superheroes now. Okay, I'll tell you why everything is superheroes now. For a certain extent, you want me to go to a movie theater and drop $20 or $25 per person on a ticket, right? And then you want me to drop $20 or $25 per person at the concession stand.
Sneak food in, John.
And then no, that they don't want you sneaking food. They want me at the concession stand because that's really where they're making their money. So I'm at $40, $50 a person. Nice. We're at $40 or $50 a person to go see this movie. If I have valet parking, my time going back and forth to the theater.
Wait, whoa. What kind of movie theater do you go to that has valet parking?
Well, first of all, I'm like $25 a ticket, John. Where are you going? You're getting ripped off, man. I don't know what it's like up there, but come down to Alabama.
Valet parking? What is he eating? The Capitol Grill?
Yeah.
Going to the movies?
We got white barbecue sauce.
I don't think I've ever been to a movie theater where they
come
have
down
valet
here, John.
parking.
Come down here. We got white barbecue sauce and cheaper movie tickets.
On styrofoam plates, man.
My point is this: if you've got to do something to get me into the theater. It can't be two people talking. And that's what most of the dramas and stuff are.
Apparently, valet parking is one of the most important parts of that, too.
They're redoing Death on the Nile for like the 93rd time. Come on, man.
Well, I heard there was a lot of controversy there,
how many times are going to do Agatha Christie and Alfred Hitchcock?
Look, but it's Kenneth Branagh this time.
Yeah, right? You know what? We got to take our last break. Stay with us. We'll be back in a couple minutes, and we'll continue this illuminating conversation on where the heck does John go. What?
Is there a giveaway tonight?
There is.
Okay.
I'm giving you.
They say it, and it's true, that everything is getting faster. You're not getting any younger, and time is the single resource that you can never get back or get any more of. So why walk into your local comic shop blind when you can go in laser focused on the best books on the shelf?
Hi everybody, and welcome to Minute to Skim It. Yeah!
Spend 1 hour with Miss Jen and Bean, and they'll give you rapid-fire reviews of all the new comics hitting stores. Spend less time shopping and more time reading.
This is Provenance of Secrets.
This is The Heathens. I read Wolverine number 17.
Minute to Skim It, every Tuesday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, on The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales.
There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
See and hear you.
We're back. All right, so I'm going to do a real quick recap.
Sean is living a life like Jeff Johns and Chris Claremont. I wish I did. I have no personal helicopter, but the guy
got no taco truck either.
The guy whose life I want to live is John Byrne. I want to be able to walk into any room and be like, I'm both a better writer and a better artist.
All right, Ron is going not.
Ron, 45 on the statue.
All right,
Ron, you heard the part about the I just want to make sure you heard the part about the statue, the box. The statue's fine. It's perfect. But the box has a little bit of a ding on it that we've covered with packing tape. You knew that, right? I just wanted to be.
All right.
You mentioned it before.
Adrian, what's going on, buddy? All right, we're going to do the recap.
Sure thing, man.
All right, we're going to do first the best offer items. Well, that one's gone. All right, so Wolverine number 1, Scotty Young, baby retailer variant, signed by Scotty Young. Suggested retail of $89.99. Lars Man is currently in the lead at $25. Let's see. Then we had Secret Invasions number 1, signed and cover sketch art by Mariano Nicieza and Joe Del Beato. Suggested retail of $89.99. Currently, Lars Man is in the lead at $45. Let's see. Then we had Purgatory number 2, sold out limited edition. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle homage incentive variant cover. Dynamite by Ken Hazer. Dynamite premium metal cover. Stevie B is in the lead at $25. Then let's see. We had the Pathfinder Statue spellcasting collector statue. Suggested retail of $199.99. Ron is now currently in the lead at $45. And as John Cole said, there is damage to the box, but the statue is in pristine condition. And then let's see, that was it for the buy it nows. Now let's go over the best offers. So let's go over the buy it nows. As always, Dynamite 10-pack, 10 random Dynamite titles for $5, so 50 cents a copy. Let's see, we had Action Comics number 1000, Jim Lee main cover, signed in silver by Brian Michael Bendis. Suggested retail of $69.99. We have it for $38. Let's see. Everything else down here appears to be claimed. Let's see. Oh, we had the Batman Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 1, signed with sketch cover art by Ken Hazer. Suggested retail of $89.99. That is one of our 5-star books at $50. There it is. And then we had Vengeance of Vampirella, number 17, CGC graded 9.8. Suggested retail of $89.99. We have it for $69 for the year that Vampirella first appeared.
That is just a strong, strong cover. We had a couple strong covers tonight. We had the Red Sonja one with it, which I think somebody bought instantly, right?
Yeah.
The Red Sonja one went up, and I think somebody
yes,
bought
that's
it.
right. Yes, that is correct. Who bought it? Lars Man took that one. All right.
These guys are talking about John Byrne doing a Dynamite property. I know from reading an article about John Byrne, one of the things he really likes is John Carter of Mars.
Yes.
In a fantasy publishing world, I would love for John Byrne to do a story set on Mars with John Carter, Dejah Thoris. Seeing his take on white apes would be, I'm down for $25 a book for that.
All right.
I saw the people talking about Byrne at Dynamite, and I started thinking, oh, that would be great. What would I want him on? And I started thinking, honestly, whatever he wanted to do. Just
exactly.
like
He
whatever.
wants to do Rainbow Bright, I'm in. That's fine.
Exactly.
Lars Man agrees with you.
Nick,
Yes,
can
John
you
Byrne.
call
on
John Byrne
Carter.
and have him do something? Thanks. We appreciate that. We'll wait.
Yeah, we'll get right on that.
We'll get right on that.
Batman Damned number 1, Jim Lee variant, CGC graded 10.0. John and I have seen it floating anywhere from 700. I've seen it at 1200.
Just out of curiosity, I popped on eBay and looked, and they had one at like 770, and I'm like, all right, fair enough. I mean, it's
So
this is a chance for people to kind of get that. Everybody wants to have something in their collection that's a 10, and this is your chance to do it at a pretty deep discount.
So we have one available tonight for $400, and we'd be willing to do 50% down, 50% in 30 days. So that is a 10.0.
Remember, everybody, Weird Science is fiction. So this is your only chance to get a perfect 10, probably.
Right? It's who's this Batman guy? Never heard of him. Thank you.
All right, and let's see. And we had the Dynamite mega set. Suggested retail of $380. We have one available at $149. It includes Chaos number 1, Turner cover signed in gold by Tim Seeley, the Shadow Year 1 number 1 original art edition, cover sketch art by Will Torres, Kirby Genesis number 0, Dynamic Forces exclusive signed in silver by Alex Ross, and then Red Sonja Price of Blood number 1, CGC guaranteed 9.8, and that we have that complete set. All 4 books for $149.
And I thought this was pretty funny. Shane, my name, is watching this on Twitter, and he asked if I put together the mega set tonight because it was all Dynamite books. I did not, but to be perfectly honest with you, if Rex had said, hey, do you want to do a mega pack? I'd have been like, yeah, I wanted it to be all Dynamite books. That's exactly.
Actually, he wants it to be all Green Hornet. So, all right. So let me throw another item out there because.
And Rex, after that, are we going to.
Disparaging the Cape Crusader.
After that, you want to do the giveaway from Friday's show?
Yes, we have to do the giveaway. Amy, were you able to send that picture to JD? Yeah. Okay, fantastic. So JD actually has a picture of it, so we don't have to have John standing in front of the camera holding it up.
Speaking of Dejah Thoris, just a few minutes ago.
All right. So before we get to the contest, which we'll do right after this, we have Batman number 98, Francesco Mattina variant signed by James Tinian IV. Suggested retail of $69.99, and we have it tonight. One available for $27 for Detective number 27. And it is signed in silver. So that is available tonight as well.
Yeah, it's got like some
love the Joker faces there. Love those Joker faces kind of
I know.
fading out.
It's kind of got almost like some Daniel Brereton energy, right?
Yeah, dude, I just got that Nocturnals hardcover omnibus, which I loved his stuff back in those days. I love that book. So I was really excited to get it in this massive edition, like very cheaply.
That's
really cool.
Man, when they can't do enough of that stuff, and I realize the average fan hates things coming out $150, $250. I'm at the stage of my life where I love that, man. I'm happy to spend money on that stuff when they kind of do.
I'm going to say it's number 3 of 10, okay?
Will you come in here and tell them, young lady? Go ahead, you come in and tell them.
Number 3 of 10.
Thank you.
All right. So should we run the contest? Do it a little earlier tonight?
Yeah, do the contest.
Let's do the contest. Roll that wheel of ridiculousness.
All right, so they're getting that Deja Thoris card, is what you said, right?
That is correct.
So this was on
Here
Friday's show.
There you go.
Yeah, this was
Amy,
on Friday's show.
card? Could you grab the card for us? Go ahead, Robbie.
All right, so on Friday's show, me and Rex had a conversation about our modern comic book prices too high, talking about modern published cover prices. And so this is the most comments we've gotten on one of these videos ever since we started doing this.
Really?
So yeah, this was a hot topic. A lot of people had a lot of things to say about this topic, so we really appreciate it. And I am spinning the wheel now, and the winner is Spilio.
Nice card, man.
Who is it?
Spilio.
Oh, John Spilios.
John.
Hey,
he
John,
congratulations, I hope
buddy.
he's still in the room, man. Congratulations, John.
Here's his comment, because we talked about our comic books too expensive. He says, when I first started collecting comics, they were 60 cents. I told myself when they reach $1, I am done. 40 years later, I am still collecting. I know I am part of the problem, accepting the increases in price.
When they get to $10, I'm going to stop. Honest. I mean it this time.
So that was a good topic that I got to give Robbie credit for coming up with, and it kind of led into all kinds of things. I mean, we kind of touched on a lot of different topics last Friday when we were talking about that. So JD Berry is claiming the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle CCA.
Congratulations, Sean. Yeah, you did, and I got to tell you, that's a sweet card, man. It really is.
Where is it? Here we go. All right. JD Berry, you got it, buddy. All right. So that is gone.
Good
and JD Berry also wants to claim Batman 98. Gotcha, buddy. Let me see. Let me find it. 98.
That's going to be a nice delivery when it comes. You open the envelope, and that's going to be nice.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice one. All right. So John had another topic for this evening that you touched on briefly.
I don't want to get yelled at by Ronald again. Did he buy stuff? Is he happy now? You talk about stuff. And
would you prefer I yell at you like normal or what? I can do it.
How many more?
I don't mind.
We're surely almost through this list, right? We only got.
We are actually. We got a couple of Dynamite Virgin covers. Might as well go through those real quick.
And we will. We're gonna. One of the things we've been slack on is we're going to start turning around in the future. We'll work on trying to turn around books. Like at each break, we'll try to pull the stuff that's off the board, because like somebody like Ronald is trying to look at the board and see what we have, and it's way too crowded with books that were sold a half hour ago.
Yes. No, you're right. All right. So here we go with the Dynamite stuff. So we have one metal cover still available. Nick's #1, sold out, limited edition, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle homage, incentive variant cover by Ken Hazer. Dynamite premium metal cover, suggested retail of $100, and we have one available for $60 tonight.
See, Nick's is a nice surprise. If you would ask me, I mean, I've been reading Vampirella a long time, right? If you would told me that characters are going to come out of her universe, one is Nyx and one is Draculina, just sort of out of my gut reaction,
right,
would have been I probably would have picked Draculina because she has a longer tenure in the Vampirella universe.
Right.
Nyx has come out of the box. John and I talked about that. Draculina sort of still has to find its space, right? Nyx started issue 1, boom, and you know what I mean? People, I can see Nyx is here to stay. People have asked me when I do the Twitter chat for Dynamite, Nyx is here to stay. I can easily say this run will end. There will be, something else. People really like this character.
That's a good book. Christos Cage is doing that one. He's doing a fantastic job. It's fun. I have a lot of fun reading Nyx every single month.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is just a fun read,
2 issues in a row. It's just her having drinks with somebody.
Yeah.
Vampirella, somebody else in the newest issue, just getting drunk, getting sloshed, and fighting demons. It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and that
sounds
really
like my 20s.
Resonate with people, man. They're kind of into the sort of, certain comics. Let's be honest. Certain comics, there's a massive, ponderous continuity that comes with them, and I think to a certain extent, a character like Nyx, I'm just like fresh out of the box. You know what I mean? I'm just going to do my thing, and what happens, happens. And Nyx is just a fun read. I can't recommend that, you know.
All right, so just to remind everybody, there's about 12 minutes left on the best offer books. All right, Ron, you are claiming the Knicks metal cover. Gotcha, buddy.
Nice. Ron, that is, man, these metal covers are so cool.
I got you, Ron. All right, you're down for that. Okay. And just again, remind everybody there is about 12 minutes left. Don't forget the lag time on the best offer books. So, all right, so let's get through this Dynamite stuff here. Then we had Purgatory number 5, Russell Fox virgin cover. Suggested retail of $50. We have one available for $40. So we'll give JD a chance to catch up there. Stevie B goes, I giggle at 60 cents. I remember having nightmares when comics went from 12 to 15 cents.
The one that got me real bad was when it went to a quarter, because that's a significant jump from 20 to 25 cents. When you've got like $1 to spend for a week, man, all of a sudden
that shifts everything.
Something has to go.
That's a question that dates you. Is like, how much were comics when you first started reading? You know, and you're like, 12 cents, 25 cents.
I would say I was at the 20 to 25 cents.
For me, it was 75 cents. So I'm the baby here, I guess.
Yeah, this is not how to make people like you, Robbie. I'm just saying.
Don't worry. There are plenty of people like, comic books were $4.99 when I started reading.
What, yesterday?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't let them in the room. We just wipe them right out.
You start reading yesterday or what? All right. So then we have Red Sonja number 6. Leverix Lee virgin cover, suggested retail of $50, and we also have them available tonight for $40. Let's see.
That's so, man, the contrast there between her red hair and this sort of white Arctic tundra. Also, I love the fact that I realized that there was people that were not necessarily, Red Sonja traditionally has got the chainmail bikini, and people kind of vibe to that, and it's fine. I think when creators take her out of that bikini and they start doing different things, we have Immortal Red Sonja coming up. And if you've seen some of the art and the ads, she looks amazing.
I'll tell you what, this cover, if you look at the color theory and the composition, it's very Alex Ross. Like Alex Ross would do this. This was exactly the kind of composition and color work that he would do. This is fantastic.
JD, when you get a chance, if you don't mind, throw the link up again for the submission form. Ron has requested that. Thank you very much, my friend. All right, so last couple. Vampirella, Dracula, Unholy number 3, Peach Momoko, virgin cover. Suggested retail of $50, and we have it tonight for $40.
See, that's a Momoko cover I can really, really get behind. I love this cover. I love this cover.
All right, and then the last one of the night, Barbarella number 7, Selena, virgin cover, suggested retail of $50, and we have it available tonight for $40.
What's she hula hooping? What's she doing there? Looks like she's one of those hula girls at the park.
I know, right? And she's kind of going through planetary rings. I'll tell you, Barbarella has low-key been consistently a really good book. I know the character in this country doesn't quite have the sci-fi credit she does in Europe, but Barbarella has kind of been a very consistent good read. We kind of talked about this in the Twitter Dynamite conversation about 2 weeks ago. And I said Barbarella is one of those books. Obviously, more people, you always want more people to read all the books, but Barbarella is consistent, humorous sci-fi action, entertainment, and adventure. And I very much think that, people read this, and I don't think they'll be sorry. Right now, horror just tends to be bigger than science fiction. I mean, Supers is bigger than everything. But when you start doing the breakdowns, horror, I think, just has a bigger audience than sci-fi.
Well, the problem with sci-fi right now is everything is pretty much focused on
Star Wars or Star Trek?
Or Star Trek now as they're coming out with the next movie.
It's got to be space opera, right? Space opera or high concept, not just fun, cheeky, sci-fi, pulpy kind of fun stuff.
I'm telling you, I mean, there's a lot of good sci-fi material. I guess it's just a few steps behind at this point, behind comic source material. People haven't really engaged in it yet. I mean, we were seeing parts of it, like with the remake of Dune, and then the.
If you're going to talk about that, I have to go get espresso.
You can get espresso where?
Where? Dune puts me to sleep, man.
We will never have a Green Hornet book on this show.
We don't
again.
have one now.
And it will never happen again. I'm going to start sending out a company-wide email that we must discontinue this.
You don't have to disparage a whole fan community because of John's ridiculousness. Come on.
Well said, Robbie. Well said.
All 7 of us Green Hornet fans are going to come looking for you.
So John Spilio says pub night is a must. Absolutely. I will say that cannot happen without John Cole making it happen, because other than giving me my change, no restaurant owner knows me in this area of any type.
You don't know. We could absolutely have put together like a little get together at my friend's brewery. I'd have to talk to them about it. Nick would probably need to budget about $70,000 for beer.
What are you going to drink?
Beer. Nick's beer, apparently. But, we talked.
If we're going to have a pub night get together.
Oh, here.
If we are.
I said his name 3 times and he showed up.
We're flying Robbie in. If all these great fans are going to show up, we're flying Robbie in. AR will be here. It'll be the ultimate Dynamite Dynamic Forces night.
Let's do it.
Like a 3-hour show that night.
I am down.
We'll be lucky to do 15 minutes.
You're going to need a convention hall. I don't think his brewery is going to cut it.
Just everybody has to bring their phones to make sure they still hit the thumbs up.
Got to be careful, man, with all that beer flowing. People start hitting the thumbs down.
I'll tell you, my friend's brewery, and I'm not just saying this because they're my friends, the breweries, Southern New Jersey in particular is known for having some really great craft breweries. The one that I frequent 8 or 9 minutes from my house, they have done some really, really, really cool stuff. They're sort of like a little bit edgier, like everybody does like 950 different IPAs, and there's nothing wrong with that. IPA, not my favorite beer, but they sort of realize, there's people that will want to do, Saison and sours, and they sort of, a ton of people here are doing IPAs, APAs, right. DIPAs. So they see a space where they're doing like these great stouts and just very cool stuff.
What's funny is that I live here, and I guess it's kind of like, historical attractions and things like that. When I lived in the Washington, D.C. area, the first time I actually went and saw the Washington Monument was when I had visitors from out of town. When you live somewhere, you don't really hit it.
Don't New Yorkers say that all the time, too? Like they never go to the Statue of Liberty or any of that sort of, they don't go to Times Square for New Year's Eve. Tourists go to Times Square for New Year's Eve.
That's the thing. So, dude, Ron.
Ron, that's great, man.
Comment of the night right there.
That's right, very hard to say in New Jersey.
So I haven't hit any of the local breweries here. I've been to a lot of breweries, but as a tourist, that's what I mean. It's so funny. There's one in the Atlanta area called Reformation Brewery. It's a great place. I mean, a bunch of us would go and you could actually buy the stuff and get it shipped to your house. So a bunch of us did that. Somebody drove, so we tried to load him up with growlers and stuff. And then New Belgium, I went to in Boulder, Colorado, which was fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
That was super cool. But
we have a fantastic brewery here called Straight to Ale that's in my old middle school. It's fantastic. It's like such a cool. They have a speakeasy bar in my old band room, and they put these old school lockers there, and you just have to know where it is and move the lockers out of the way to get in. It's fantastic. It's like a secret.
That is super cool. That is.
They have a comic book. They have a store. I think it's in Orlando, where it's sort of like a speakeasy, but with comics, and you have to kind of move past the rack or whatever.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
it's sort of like a very cool kind of. I see Ron mentions his relatives are here in New Jersey, which is why he stays out. That's the reason I don't go to Florida very often. A massive amount of my family is migrated to Florida, both mine and my wife's. That's why I make the cutoff traveling south Myrtle Beach. I still have 8 hours of buffer room, and I'm able to sit down and get some great southern seafood.
So just to remind everybody, now there's about 2 minutes left on the best offer of the night. So Lars Man wants to know, Robbie, what did you play in band?
Oh, they have a stage at the brewery. Maybe we'll put together a band too.
Oh, that'll be a drunken mess.
That's the band name.
I played the
Drunken
that
Mess
should be
is
the
my
band
name.
Drunken Mess. That would be awesome.
I played the trombone. Is what I played. The trombone.
Did we do all the books?
Yeah,
we did the statue. We did the books.
We did the books. We're all good to go.
As always, if there's something you guys want to see, I'm just trying to think of all the stuff real quick. If there's anything you want to see, email Rex. And we can't guarantee everything, but
we will look.
He'll take a look and see what's there.
I absolutely will take a look, without a doubt. So, all right, now JD's counter is so much cooler.
It's getting better and better, right?
What?
He has the cool counter when he throws it up. All right, so we're down to 48, 47, 46 seconds. Let's see.
Keep in mind there's a little bit of lag too. So if anybody's out there kind of floating around like, oh, maybe I'm going to snipe or whatever, I'd say with 30 seconds left, it's now or never.
Yeah, and we tend to have a pretty good crew here. There's very little sniping that goes on. I don't think it's ever happened.
Just throwing it out there.
Actually, if anything, they give it away to each other.
Yeah, like you take it.
Numerous times.
You take it, bro.
That's a lot more classy and positive than you've got a $15 bid and I bid $15.25 as the clock expires. Really, bro? That's
classier. That's a shocker.
I love that
anybody to use those terms with us.
I love that the YouTube final screen.
Ooh, let's do the electric one on next show there, JD. I like the electric one. That looks cool.
Time is up. Congratulations to whoever has the best offers of the night.
Whoever had the best offers, congratulations to the winners. Just trying to think.
I love how JD's like, I steal them from YouTube. Like we couldn't tell.
What? I thought you wrote the code for all that stuff, JD. I'm shocked. So for everybody, don't forget to tune in to Robbie's YouTube channel tonight, Pop Culture Philosophers.
That's the steel book I was talking about.
Science.
Look at that steel book.
The name of the statue, Ron, is Pathfinder Seoni, Seoni, collector statue.
Nice.
You can just put Pathfinder statue. That'll work.
And I would tell people to absolutely check out.
I can't believe she married Steven Seagal.
Robbie, well, it was the 80s. People did bad stuff.
Man, I would have married Steven Seagal in the 80s.
Robbie's channel. Good night, Dwayne. We're glad you were able to join us, bud.
Thanks, Dwayne.
That's a good point. Miss Jen is up with Mishmash next. So
Miss Jen is up with Mishmash.
If there's any money left, give it to her. Check out Robbie's show for sure, man. Yeah. Robbie kind of, there's no corner of the pop culture world that, like he won't root around it. And I think that's very cool.
Right.
A lot of the shows these days, and I'm not hammering anybody's show, but a lot of the shows these days are like, we're going to talk about Cherry Coke to death. That's not all we're going to talk about.
Not like our show.
We talk about a ton of stuff. My comics I like, your comics you like, Robbie's comics.
No, it's usually just the comics you like.
And spam.
But
spam. That is correct. Thank you, JD.
Check out Robbie's show, man.
Thank you.
If you're a movie buff, TV person, comic book person,
So just remember, we're here every Monday from 6 to 8 Eastern with Rockin Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers, and then we're here on Wednesdays with AR Comics, also from 6 to 8, and then on Friday nights on The Experience we have our original art show from 7 to 8 Eastern, and that's with Nick. Usually some real great stuff on that show as well.
Nick has like gallery level pieces and stuff he's showing. No, I mean, we have comic books, but Nick is sort of showing some.
He always has some real interesting stuff, and really, I think it's a great way for even if you're not a original art collector, if you are a fan of comics, whatever, it's definitely a good show to tune into.
And because of Nick's sort of his time in the industry, he always has really cool shows, like a cool little story too, an anecdote about a particular, you know what I mean? Like there's a JR Jr. piece of artwork, and Nick will be like, "Oh, let me tell you about," you know what I mean? It's really great. It's a good watch.
Ron, not this week, my friend, but I believe we're going to have one March 5th. On Friday. But once we have that confirmed, we will absolutely let you know.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Adrian. As always, thanks to all of our viewers. We really appreciate it. Without you guys, this show wouldn't even work. As always, Rockin Robbie, thanks, buddy, for joining us. And I'm going to try to tune into Weird Science. Love that movie. Just kind of defined my youth. In a
we
sense.
didn't get a chance to talk about it tonight, but maybe on Wednesday we'll briefly mention Amazon's torpedoing of Comixology.
Yes, that was the other topic
That
we
was
wanted
the
to get to.
question I
But
got.
I
got
just
that
kind of ran out of time.
all weekend long on. I'm not the biggest Comixology guy, but yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I was just reading up on that.
Amazon did those people dirty. I don't know how else to
it was that
describe
update.
it.
Sooner or later it was coming. But that's a topic we'll cover next show. I'm on Robbie's show on Friday. So be sure to tune in to Pop Culture Philosophers. Usually Robbie comes up with a topic of interest. Last week was a great one. Are comics too expensive? Hey, John Stout, how you doing, buddy? And that just opened up a can of worms. I mean, it's like bait.
I plan on opening. I'm going to open another can of worms this weekend. Don't worry.
All right, cool.
Nice.
And listen to John. We should be paying more. Not everybody's retired, right? Okay. Some of us can't afford to pay more. So with that being said, thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Thank you, Robbie.
Have a great night. Thanks for joining us,
JD.
everybody. We'll see you on Wednesday.
We'll see you on Wednesday.